right, I think we're on. Welcome back everybody for another video. I just wanted to show you what I've been working on lately, and that is playing around with watercolor circles. And then I've been cutting them out and putting them into these collages. So I just wanted to quickly show you how I go about putting this together. I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing with these when they're completely done, but I did experiment over the weekend with one. So I had put together, they're kind of like mandalas, and then I'll just keep collaging them and gluing them on to each other after I cut them out. So I kind of stack them, you know, from the biggest all the way to the smallest. But I also decided to glue it on a piece of watercolor paper that I had painted on previously. I had done all these beautiful little blue streaks of like a wash, I think I used cerulean blue on this one. And then I went around in a little bit of a circle around this one as well on the main page. And I used a gold highlighter to do all these beautiful little lines. I've been really working with Neurographica art. I've been taking a lot of workshops with them lately. So I decided to add a few neurographic lines on here as well. So it's kind of incorporating watercolor collage, mandalas, and a little bit of Neurographica. So I'm just kind of trying to combine everything I've been learning this past winter. All right, so to get started, let me move these out of the way. To get started, there's a couple different ways you can do this. So to show you how I did these compared to something more like this. So see how this one's just a little mishmash of colors, and this one is more of a structured circle that I put together, and then I left a little bit of a white border on it as well, whereas I didn't leave a white border on this one. So there's a couple different ways to go about this. So the first one is get your paper nice and saturated. Oh no, there's a little bit of paint left on my brush. And you can go ahead and tape your page down if you want to. You can see how it starts to buckle a little bit. And then you can just go ahead, and I just used a nice big flat brush for this. You can also use maybe like a round brush if you want to. But what you can do is just start going in and putting in watercolors. So it just starts to bleed like that, any colors you want. You can even make shapes like circles. You can come in with some stripes and just let it start to bleed. And overlap colors. It's really nice to see colors overlap, like the pink and the blue start to make a purple color here. Now if you start to overlap complementary colors like purple and yellow, it will start to give you this more neutral brownish beige look. If you're into the neutrals, then definitely go ahead and just start mixing your complementary colors. But if you're not, just kind of keep them separated a little bit. I'm going to add a little orange in there. And I would just keep this kind of simple at this point, just more of like a blending of colors rather than trying to, you know, see, oh, this looks like a flower or, you know, a certain shape or image. I wouldn't do that right now. I would just kind of start just adding your colors and having a good time with them. Okay. Now see how my page is starting to buckle because I'm adding a lot of water on there. If that bothers you, like I said before, go ahead and tape your page down. This does not bother me because it just kind of buckles and adds to the watercolor bleeding elsewhere. Kind of makes like a little hill. And then your watercolor just starts to bleed off. But if that bothers you, go ahead and tape it down first. And it doesn't need to be so structured, like I just put orange polka dots a little bit everywhere. It doesn't need to be like that. You could just add like one or two if you want to. Let's see, let's add this blue. I think that was more of my ultramarine blue. gonna have something that looks like that. All right, so I'm gonna let that go ahead and dry a little bit. So you could do, like I said, polka dots, circles, just a mishmash of colors. You could do stripes, anything. All right, we're gonna go ahead and let it dry. So that was more like this. Okay, so you're gonna end up with something a little bit more organic. Let that dry, and then I'm gonna show you how I normally do one of these. It's a little bit more structured. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my brush, and I'm just gonna put water in a circular motion. I know that's hard to see right now. And then what I'll do is I'll take my watercolor and I'll just pounce it either in the middle. I can just pounce it on the outsides here. You can do all different colors. I'm just using one color right now. And if you're very careful, go around the edge. If you can see where you put that water, if you look sideways, you can kind of see the water shining in the light. So you know you have a little bit of an edge there, so you can see what, you know, where to put your paint. Let's use, I think I'm gonna use this ultramarine again. You can start adding different colors. And of course you can use any size brush for this. I'm using a size 12, but you can use any size brush. All right, so see how that's a little bit more thought out rather than the other. Let's go ahead and do another one. Let's do this one in oranges. And you don't even have to do a middle if you don't want to, but I love doing it. It kind of reminds me of a geode, and I'm a huge rock collector and crystal collector. So sometimes I like these to look a little bit more like stones. Actually, I want to add a little bit of orange in there too. Look how pretty that is. You can make these as colorful as you want. All right, I'm going to go around the edge a little bit just to define it. And it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. I actually like when it's not a perfect circle. A little bit more organic. And let's add some, let's do a little reddish orange in this one. And then you could just go right over what you did, or you can make, you know, swirls, whatever you want. All right, so after it's dried, which I'm gonna go ahead and dry this really quick. Good enough. Then you're going to take your scissors and you're just going to start cutting out circular shapes. You can cut out any shape you want. I like using circular shapes. It's very organic. My art is more organic. And this is not completely dry yet, but we'll do the best. I'll do the best I can. All right, so it's not like a perfect circle, which to me, it doesn't bother me. And then these here, you would just cut out. They're really wet, so I'm just gonna let them dry. But you would cut them out and you would leave a little bit of a white border if you wanted to, like this. And then what I do is I start, once I gather a whole bunch of different circles, I just start to place them down on top of each other. So I like to do some with the white border. It pops it nicely. You could do some without the white border. Let's see, where do I have one of those? Here's one. So this one does not have a white border, which looks really nice as well. And then you would just keep layering it from the largest all the way up to the smallest. And then you would have these beautiful circular discs. And you can actually even just do this instead of cutting out the last one. Like I said on this page here that I had done over the weekend, you can actually draw out your, or paint out your last one on the actual paper and then paste the rest on there. And then I pasted a couple more little circles here and there, even in the background. So, well, I just hope you liked it. I just wanted to show you a little bit about what I've been working on lately. I'm having a good time making these. Like I said, I'm not really 100% sure where this is going, but I just know I'm having a good time making them. And I will figure that out at a later date because I'm going to be starting to have all my art shows coming up soon. So I will have to start putting this together somehow and frame them. And I will show you that in another video as well. All right, have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you want more videos like this one, and give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Thanks, bye.